Right, so now we are at chapter 60, Al-Mumtahana. Chapter 60 begins with a call, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. So in other words, you have already believed in the tasbih block now. You have attained faith in that system. It says, لا تتخذوا عدوي وعدوكم. Do not take my enemy and your enemies. So it's not like Allah's enemy but our friends, but Allah's enemy and our enemy, awliya, as protectors or allies. Giving them affection or attachment, even though they have rejected what has come to you from al-haq. So, in other words, these people are the people who are hostile towards you, and they have driven out ar-Rasul and yourselves because you have believed in this system. So Allah saying, don't take them as protectors. And the example of this is in the story of Ibrahim. So قَدْ كَانَتْ لَكُمْ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ فِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ, and those who are with him. There is an excellent example. These people, they have steered clear of these people who are the enemies of the system. And actually the word hatred has come. So there's hatred which has arisen. Why? Because these people, they are expelling others from their land. So we can tell, in the world we can see that there are people who actually cleanse people from their lands. These are the people being mentioned here. And Ibrahim is again mentioned with his people. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِيهِمْ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Verily in them is a beautiful example for you, if you rely on Allah and the final outcome. So here we can see that this is an extremely hostile state, because there are people who will be very hostile towards justice. They will not like it that all human beings are given equal opportunity, so they will be opposed to this. But Allah says, He forbids you not as regards with those who do not engage in this, do not fight you or drive you out of your homes, in being just with them. And in other words, anyone who is doing this, you have to turn away from them. This is not a question of faith, as I said. This is about our orientation. Are we socially oriented towards the same goals or not? If we wish to oppress human beings, then this is exactly going against God as far as the Quran is concerned. Verse 10, another call. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. This is now talking about people who are emigrating to the system and how to act with regards to them. And the chapter closes with before that, verse 12 talks about the Prophet and Nabi, who is actually quite unique in this block, because we have not seen a Nabi just yet. It's now talking about people who are coming to him, pledging their oath, and it tells him how to act towards them. So here we can see that the system has now matured to the point that oppressors have moved away from it. This reminds us of chapter 5 verse 3, which talks about the takmilah, the perfection of Islam. Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum. At that time, Islam becomes perfect when those who reject say, okay, we're done with you. Why? Because they do not wish to have equality given for mankind. This is the exposition of that now. This is a single verse passage, by the way, to the Prophet. And another single verse passage, it closes this chapter. It is for the believers. It says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O ye who have believed, do not turn for friendship on whom is the wrath of Allah. So who has the wrath of Allah? People who reject the system of justice. Again, this system is not a state system, but rather a communal system where distribution of wealth takes place. And there are people who reject this. And the people who reject this are said to be rejecting Allah. And therefore, they are enemies of Allah. So here it is, we need to understand that this is all about all about establishing a movement where all human beings will be given equality. So this closes off Al-Mumtahana, and I believe that the next chapter kind of gives a narrative correspondence to what we have read so far. So we now move on to chapter 61, As-Saf.